So just to start, I want to understand your role at St. Francis a little bit more.
So I am a labor and delivery nurse. Basically just help patients, labor and have a baby. And we switch around. We go to triage. So sometimes we're triaging patients, seeing if they need to come over to labor and delivery, if they're good to go home, what the next step is. But overall, I feel like my biggest role is just laboring patients.
How long have you been in practice?
I will have been here for a year as of October 2nd.
That's coming up.
I know, it's so close.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so you've been at St. Francis the whole time?
Yes.
In practice?
Yes.
So, as I was saying before, I'm really interested in learning about your perceptions of the Teen Birth Project.
Okay.
Teen Best Birth Project.
Yes.
Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
So I think the biggest one, and I feel like this is one of the things that they've emphasized to us, and I feel like to the public, is the whole whiteboard thing. And I feel like from just even like the feedback that we've gotten from patients, that they really like it a lot, just because it keeps them informed kind of what we're doing and what the plan is, and helps them kind of just know us better. Because even by us just writing our name on the board, they're like, oh, okay. And then, like I said, just kind of knowing the plan, them staying informed, us continually updating them on everything. I think that's the biggest thing I've heard that patients really like about it. And then obviously doing the bedside report and I can't think of what it's called right now, where we talk with like the physician and us and kind of do all of that. I know patients usually obviously really appreciate that as well, just because one, they're getting to see their physician, and then we're there, and so we're all kind of on the same page whenever we're able to do that. And especially, I know back in, I feel like December-ish, kind of that time, it was going really, really well, and we were really like pushing it, and I feel like a lot of people liked that. So, I feel like that was definitely beneficial. It's just hard, especially on nights. It's very hard. I was going to say, because doctors are not wanting to come up here, which I don't blame them. Like, they need to sleep at some point in time. But it is a lot harder to do those little huddles with the doctors at night. And some of the doctors I know, too, are not willing to do the speakerphone thing. But then I've had it where they're like, no, I'm not willing to do it, and then they'll eventually come up here and talk to the patient. But it's still kind of a catch-22 where they kind of resist it sometimes. And like I said, I don't know if it's like that on days, but on nights I feel like it is. But I feel like because it is nighttime and all of that, they have that whole thing kind of going against them. So a lot of times it's us having to relay the information to them. And so sometimes...
Us meaning the
nurses.
Nurses
to the patient.
To patients,
yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously to the doctor, so it's just kind of where we're like the middleman trying to relay all the information. But when huddles do happen, it is pretty beneficial. I feel like if they do happen, it's usually for the most part around the beginning of the shift, or if we're having to contemplate like doing a C-section or something like that. But the huddles are good. And then we have those sheets, that kind of talk about like the plan and different directions that we can take with things. And I feel like that's good for the patients to always look over, just so they kind of know their options.
Is this on the labor floor or at admissions?
We have it in our admission packet that we get, so we can go over it with them when they're admitted. Okay. And then we leave it in there for them to look over at the time, because I know whenever we're first admitting them, we're kind of throwing all this stuff at them. So we go over it, and then we leave it there for them to just look at. I was saying, most of the time, I don't know if the patients actually end up looking at it, but it is there for them.
Do you mostly work nights?
Yeah. As I say, when I first started, when I trained, I was on days, and I was on days up until March. Okay. And so I was on days by myself for for sure 2 months. And then I switched to nights just because that was my original plan. So yeah, I've been on nights since March.
Okay. So can you tell me more about like doctors kind of refusing to